Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Mal Plays some more Pillars of Eternity.
Hail and well met.
Hail and well met. We're going to talk to this guy. Know anything about the Awakenings? Great, that's not my area of expertise.
Hail,
Could you give me anything else? Oh, it's some guy. We're talking to a grad student. To find somebody actually useful now. All right, Head Warden dude. Head Warden Ethelomir. A well-maintained statue of a middle-aged man presides over the room, looking down and blinking over the bustle of harried academics pestered by the hopeful desperate. A strong warmth emanates from it that you could sense from across the room. There's a human soul stored beneath the stonework. You feel its attention turn towards you. It's been some time since a watcher graced these halls. His voice echoes deeply, rumbling the floor beneath you. I'm envious of your natural insights, traveler. I can only imagine how it must have helped in my work in life. Now, what is it that has brought you to my sanitarium? I'm looking for an animator named Modred. Modred, of course. You'll find him downstairs in the first room on the right. You know anything? Does anyone here know anything about the Awakenings? There's an animator on the lower floor who came all the way from Revua to study them. Take the stairs down, look for Belasej. Curious as to how you came to be in your present state. In the statue, you mean? Well, I was old, and it seemed wrong to me. A lifetime spent in pursuit of discovery, only to lose it all in death. Somewhere, someday, I would wake up in a new body none the wiser, and pursue a different course entirely. All that experience wasted. If we were ever to unearth the principles behind our existence, it will be in spite of our condition. Of that I am quite sure. To live on as part of something I helped build seemed to me a better legacy than what nature had in store. The transfer itself was quite simple as their techniques go, and for that I am grateful. Playing with souls is far easier to accept when they're not your own. I do miss being able to take an active role in the scholarly efforts here. Now and again, one of our animancers will humor me and consult over some problem, but they are a jealous breed and are too often afraid to collaborate. If you're considering it yourself, I can tell you that it isn't for the easily bored. You may have a member of the leaden key in your mist. Ethelomir groans and the stones around him shudder. I could have done without hearing that today. Many have their intrusions have been into our affairs. Of course, one can seldom be certain whether they've meddled or whether a calamity has struck on its own, but a few of their less skilled infiltrators have been exposed from time to time. They are a perpetual nuisance. Once again, I'm reminded of how envious I am of your gifts. I suspect they would be of some use in verifying one's identity. You are at odds with the leaden key as well, I take it. They're up to something. I'm trying to determine what. They're always up to something. Of that you may rest assured. If their plot have come to involve you, you may have my sympathies. You have some idea of who this person might be? I won't know until I've met them. Very well. In that case, I would recommend you speak first with our resident animancers. They have frequent interactions with both patients and colleagues. You'll find them up here or in the offices downstairs. You will report anything suspicious to me immediately. That is my only request. Alright. Are you suspicious? Are you suspicious? Are you suspicious? He's not suspicious. Are you suspicious? Okay, this is gonna get silly. I'm betting he's downstairs. Are you suspicious? No, no dubstep. No dubstep. All right. Come on. All right, I feel like I should be stealthing. This looks like a dungeon. It feels like a dungeon. Smells like a dungeon. Hello? How is this not a dungeon?
Gods keep you.
Gods keep you. A woman paces back and forth, her feet crunching on the soft red carpet. Carpet crunches? She gestures and mumbles to herself, shaking her head as she pores over pages of notes. She almost walks into you. Akosi, here I am, looking so hard for answers in my research that I do not see the kith standing in front of me. What can I do? You notice anything that's unusual or suspicious here lately? It is rare for me to notice things that do not relate to my work, even when they are in front of me. Sanitarium, amico. But I'm not the best choice to help you with that. I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. Ah, that would be me. Though the lack of research subjects has made me more of an expert in counting floorboards. I would like to transfer an animancy success in buttressing pre-awakened souls to soothing those whose souls have already awakened, but I need subjects, and most of the patients here are too broken to produce reliable results. It is a tragedy to have come so far for nothing. You're in luck, I have a volunteer. Gallard, who is it? I don't know about this. She grins more broadly still. Don't be silly, the process is perfectly harmless. All you must do is stand in that cage. I beg your pardon? I jest. You adherents are so uptight. I don't even know what the thing is used for. It belonged to the last occupant of this office, I think. Now they upgrade him to a cell. Again, I jest. She rubs her hands together, getting down to business. So, I need you to sit here. She takes Eloth by the shoulders and steers him to the couch. And try to relax, but don't try too hard. Then you will not be relaxing. Indeed. And you must also wear these. A little cold, but the copper will help conduct your essence. The Animancer fastens thick copper bands to Eloth's forehead and wrists. As she ratchets them tighter, her face twitches with suppressed irritation. Now, I'll examine your soul through my scope. What? She reaches into her desk and produces a long chambered tube, knobs, dials, and small toothed wheels run along the side of the device. It is fitted with Audra lenses that cut to different thicknesses and concavities. By manipulating them, I find the angles and densities that will allow me to track the anomalies in your soul. How exciting! I've never seen this sort of thing performed. Khan peers at the device with interest. It seems suitably complicated. That's what I was thinking. Does this mean we'll get back to Islamir more? I like that lady. Does this mean we'll get to talk to Islamir more? I like that lady. She raises a finger. But first, we must find the cunning interloper. You will answer some personal questions while I make adjustments. Very well. She holds the scope to her eye and flicks a knob. To begin, tell me something personal. Something from a time before your awakening. There's nothing to tell. I was just a normal child living in the Sithwood. He looks to you, his face set in a frown, but the rigid edges of apprehension show through nevertheless. Do you remember about your home? As you speak to Eloth, you feel your voice like a bell in your chest. It tolls softly, luring him into the mists of his own memory. Balasage doesn't seem to notice anything, but you feel as if your words are smoothing his essence, untangling its many threads. He closes his eyes, comfortable, modest, quiet when Mother is away, which is most of the time. Quiet enough to hear the clink of glass on wood. This is when I know to be most careful. Father's good about hiding the bottles. Mother, when she's home, is good at pretending not to notice them. This is good. I'm starting to see something. Continue. Tell us about the time you awakened. She bites her tongue as she twists one of the dials. I'm in my 5th year of training. Mother is home. I can let my guard down a little, because when she's around, he's usually only angry with her. But he has heard that I have had trouble casting missiles, that my flame shields are unstable. He is furious that I have failed, and Mother's presence reminds him that he has failed, too. The first blow takes me by surprise. One moment I'm sweeping the kitchen, the next I'm sprawled on the ground, stupidly looking at flecks of my blood on the tile. His boots, glistening with fresh polish, thud across the floor. He kicks me in the stomach, and I curl up to shield my vitals, but it's pointless. Protecting one thing only leaves something else exposed. Still huddled on the ground, I retreat as fast as I can. I retreat until the vision of the kitchen and my own trembling knees is nothing but a pin pricked against a field of black. His jaw locks and his eyes twitch beneath their lids. Wadiko! Balasage furiously cranks knobs along her scope. He's hypnotized himself with his old memory. You've got to bring him out of it quickly. I almost have it. It's safe. Everything's fine. Eloth's eyes snap open, but the expression you see in them isn't his. He's ne'er safe when I hop upon him. Balasage sucks a deep breath through her teeth. That's it. I'm seeing a shift in his essence. Something spreading, congealing. Keep talking. He seems to respond to you. What's brought you here? Cracking bones and voices high in ire. That warm molasses feeling that crips down your gut when crisis is nigh. Perfetto! We have flares of totally distinct essence. Now, try to get the two of them talking. Islamir, tell Eloth why you've awakened. Fi, he's the one that needed me. Had in his own bone bag like a turtle in a shell. I never turned it over to you. Good, yes, very good. She rests from her scribbling, only to make another adjustment to her scope. I can now see two separate patterns of essence. Where he ebbs, the other flows. It's as if the awakened soul fills the space that he leaves empty. Go on. Eloth, what's this about ceding space to Islamir? Given her nothing. She usurps me in my own body. Aye, and I'll lend him a pair too. You should just ask her what I did with that old man of his. How the last time he laid a hand on us, I break it in 3 places. That wasn't your decision. It's never been your decision. Now I was awakening, but now I'm stuck with you and down to let you ning drag us both through the scuppa. Ah, very good. She lowers her scope and consults her notes. I think I've finally got something we can work with. I've tracked Islamir's essence throughout the exchange. She had a particularly high density index during the most heated portions of the argument, and her essence seemed to localize most clearly in the lower portion of the subject's left rib cage. That's right around the spleen, which, of course, means that she is triggered by black bile. No doubt the subject's characteristic melancholy is to blame. Aloth blinks back at you, and in the midst of his perturbation, you're not quite sure who's looking out of his eyes. That's utter horseshit. Black bile, is it? They've certainly spat their share. Kana studies Aloth dubiously. It is a simpler explanation than I expected, all things considered. She glares at him. Yes, never mind my years of training. I suppose you have a better explanation? I think it would be, like, okay, so, you know, gonna get wrecked, in danger. Someone feels threatened, I think. This is mere manifest when Aloth is in danger under pressure. Elisage carefully scratches her jaw, and her gaze darting between you and Aloth. I suppose that could be true. I'll have to check this against other research. Well, good for you, but what does that mean for me? Elisage frowns at her notes, tapping her cheek with a quill and making a grand show of concentration. However, you can catch her stealing a glance over at you over the pages. She did you a favor by dealing with your father, didn't she? I think she's trying to help you stand up for yourself. You may not like her methods, but you should hear her out. If you had to listen to her half as much as I do, you wouldn't say that. He scowls, but you notice something thoughtful in his frown. I've got a lot to process. Regardless, thank you for your help, Gamorrean. He does not look at Elisage. She sets her notes in the desk and returns to her scope. Well, I hope this has been as useful to you as it's been to me. I found that material worth publishing. It'll be the toast of Ruua, Fontra Aloth. Aye, advancing the right-wise principle animancy. Just what you've always wanted. As you turn to leave, you catch a darting movement out of the corner of your eye. The last sage is humming to herself, still occupied with her scope, but Aloth is holding her notes. He's just about to tuck them in the coach into his cloak when he catches you watching. He holds the fingers to his lip, and his eyes widen, imploring, Please, I don't want my personal information published like this, especially not after nonsense. Good enough. Hands, papers, and cloak. Not to worry, we'll see to this on our own. I'm a jerk. It's fine. It's fine, right? Oh, I've got a thing. What do you mean? There's a thing that says... Alright.
Steady does it.
Modred. The lack of dust on the trunk's surface and the long scratch on the tile flooring suggests that this trunk is frequently used to move throughout the laboratory despite its considerable size. Deep yet narrow gouges score the wood at the edges of the trunk. They look like claw marks. Let's talk to Modred. An animancer scribbles feverishly on a parchment scroll while his free hand dances through the air, counting off unseen objects. His lips move in silent discourse. As your shadow falls over his scroll, he looks up to you with mingled perplexity and irritation.
Well met, friend.
Can I help you? Does the name Helig mean anything to you? Helig? He is a colleague of mine. He was primarily a necromancer, but he was involved in animancy too. He worked at the Sanitarium for several years. I dare say everyone here has heard of him. He left his post recently. I believe he was seeking new opportunities in the Valian Republics. The advances they're making in animancy really are quite remarkable. Surely you've heard. Perhaps you haven't. Do you know a woman named Roinia? No, I don't get out of the Sanitarium much. But Helig. As I said, he no longer works here. I've heard differently. Just what are you insinuating? This is your idea of a joke. I assure you it's in very poor taste. So you didn't sink a blade into his chest and dump it in the catacombs. He'll be relieved to hear it. How could... Very well. Yes, I killed him. I killed that beast because nobody else had the spine for it. He was a madman. Years of perverse experiments, twisting healthy souls, torturing damaged souls, and for what? He flayed the essence from Glanfathan indigenites for his amusement. If the public had known half of his deeds, they'd have razed this place to the ground. He jabs his finger on the desk. He used the Sanitarium to disguise his own sick proclivities. He brought shame on all of us, and put the entire discipline at risk. I regret nothing. Anyway, now you know the whole grisly story. Helig's soul returned to his corpse through sinister magic. He wants revenge. No doubt, but now you understand why I killed him. Why someone had to. If he sent you, I only hope I can convince you to return and slay him once for all. Is something I need. You consider a deal with that monster. What I've told you hasn't swayed you. I doubt anything will. I must return to my work. I wish you well.
Welcome.
About Helig. Helig said you stole a grimoire from him. His grimoire? What's that madman been telling you? He said you kept it in that trunk over there. Modred takes the key with trembling hand, his eyes darting to the trunk behind you. You've been misled. That's no grimoire here, and Helig never intended you to find one. That wretched thing has an insatiable hunger for blood. Thank you for denying him. I hope I can convince you now to return and slay him once for all. Alright. Good. I'm glad to find somebody will. I must return to my work. I wish you well. I kinda wanna open that thing. I'll come back to that. Maybe I'll save first. Do the wise thing.
Keeping quiet.
Door. Ripley. Hi, Ripley.
Well met, friend.
Oh my, you startled me. Are you supposed to be in here? Investigating any suspicious activity in the Sanitarium. Oh, I'm just Master Azo's assistant. He'd know more about that, but he's in the middle of an busy with some patients. You won't be able to see him until he comes out from the patient ward. If there's nothing else, need to get back to work. Is Azo busy with patients or is he running some sort of experiment? They're getting the patient ward. Alright. Some chicanery going on. Note from Azo. Ripley, I require more copper tubing for my next experiment. Do not requisition it from the Sanitarium stores. I don't have the time to deal with Head Warden's inevitable questions. Yeah. What do we have in here? Subject is female, mid-40s, awakened to a past life as a serial murderer, which now frequently emerges as the soul's dominant personality. Subject facilitates between violence and severe depression resulting from guilt of past deeds. Weak candidate for present research. Okay. Male, mid-20s, dissociation. Midnight Man. Pale Lady, Midnight Man, Uskrim. Okay. I'm gonna grab those. I'm gonna go over here. And ended and scored a clock. How is this not like a... Alright. Well, there's an obvious thing that's going on. Let's go talk to whatever the heck the headmaster's name was. His name is too hard, what can I say? Theliomir. I found records that Azo may have been running some questionable experiments. Experiments? Cadman Azo is in charge of patient welfare now. He's not authorized to run any more experiments. I am disappointed in Cadman. I'd hoped he would have been the one to guide your inquiry. He'll be in his office or in the patient wards. I'm granting you immediate access so you can find him. No doubt you'll wish to speak to him further on this matter. And I, for one, am curious as to what he might have to say. Tread carefully in the wards. There are a few dangerous cases. I would also ask that you do your best not to agitate the patients. They have enough troubles as is. Alright. I'm sure this will go well. Nothing wrong could happen here. Let's go through a room full of crazy people. But you know, man, it's just part of the job. Just part of the job. It's what we get paid for? Hold on a second. We don't actually get paid like a regular wage to go hero stuff, be the watcher. But we'll find out for next, folks. That will be for next episode. We will go delve into the Sanitarium, which looks suspiciously like a sewer or a place of death. Hopefully it's not. I don't know. We'll see. Thanks for joining me, folks. My name's Mel, and I'll see you guys later.